Children, let us today do the sums related to Pythagoras theorem. And before doing the sums, let us understand what is Pythagoras theorem. In a right angle triangle, the square of the hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the squares of the remaining two sides. And what does this statement mean? Let us say we have a right angle triangle. In this right angle triangle, let us say angle B is a right angle, and always we can find out the Pythagoras theorem in a right angle triangle only. And opposite to the right angle, whichever side is, that side is called as the hypotenuse. So we will say hypotenuse is AC, and therefore what does the theorem says? That the sum of the squares of the remaining two sides. What are the remaining sides? AB and BC. Sum of the squares means AB square, sum means plus BC square is equal to the square of the hypotenuse, that is AC square. So this we have to remember in our minds, and this can happen only when an angle of the triangle is a right angle, that is 90 degree. And along with this we have one more theory, that is Pythagorean triplets. Triplets means 3. And what is this? This is, it consists of, Pythagorean triplets consists of 3 positive integers, children. 3 positive integers. And if we consider those integers as A, B and C, then what do we get? We get, if let us say A is the hypotenuse, then A square is equal to B square plus C square. If A is hypotenuse, and if we say if B is hypotenuse, then we can write it as B square is equal to A square plus C square. And if C is the hypotenuse, even we can write C square is equal to A square plus B square, where rest of the two are the sides of the right angle triangle. So based on these two concepts, we have exercise 2.1, question number 1 from the geometry textbook, that is practice set 2.1, and this is the maths 2 book, what you have for your geometry this year. So let us see what the question says. The question 1 says, identify with reason which of the following are Pythagorean triplets. Which are the Pythagorean triplets? Children, we have to identify which numbers given are Pythagorean triplets. So first one is given as 3, 5, 4. So first of all, children, let us write it in the descending order. So 5 is greater than 4, is greater than 3. So after writing it in descending order, we have to see the square of the biggest number. The largest number is 5. So 5 5 the square 25. So let us keep it with us, and let us also find the squares of the rest of the two digits. 4 the square is 16 and 3 the square is 9. So what do we understand by the Pythagorean triplets? The square of the largest number should be equal to the sum of the squares of the rest of the two sides. So let us see if it is equal or no. 25 is equal to 16 plus 9, or otherwise 25 is equal to 25. Both the left hand side as well as the right hand side are equal to each other. Therefore you have to write square of the largest number is equal to the sum of the squares of the other two numbers of the other two numbers. Hence you have to say that 3, 5 and 4 are the Pythagorean triplets. So this is the way you have to solve your question. So let us see one more question, second one, in the same manner, given to us as 4, 9 and 12. We have to see whether they are the Pythagorean triplets or no. First of all, let us write them in the descending order, that is bigger to smaller. Then find the square of the largest number, 144, and find the squares of the rest of the two numbers. So let us add first the squares of the smaller numbers. So 81 plus 16, that gives us 97. And if you see that, well, the square is equal to 144 and the sum of the squares of the smaller numbers are 97, therefore it is not equal to each other. Hence we will say that 4, 9 and 12 are not the Pythagorean triplets, as the square of the largest number is not equal to the sum of the squares of the other two numbers. So this statement has to be written once and again whenever you are solving the question, because it has to be understood, and statement answer is very important. So let us see the third one. What the question is given as 5, 12 and 13. First of all, let us write in the descending order 13, 12 and 5. Now find the square of the largest number. 13 the square is 169, 12 the square is 144, and 5 the square is 25. Alright, now let us find the sum of the squares of the sum of the squares of the smaller numbers, that is 144 plus 25, that gives us 169. Hence, see, the largest number is also having the same answer, so both the sides are equal to each other. Therefore, the numbers which are given to us are Pythagorean triplets, and the reason why they are Pythagorean triplets, as the square of the largest number is equal to the sum of the squares of the other two numbers. Children, please write this statement compulsorily. Next, the fourth one is given to us as 24, 70 and 74. Write it in descending order first. 74, 70 and 24. Find the squares of all three, and what do you get? 74, the square is 5476. If you multiply 74 by 74, you will get 5476. 70, the square is 4900, and 24, the square is 576. So let us add the squares of the smaller numbers. What do we get? Let us see. 4900 plus 576 is equal to 5476. Hence, the two sides are equal to each other. 74, the square is equal to 70 the square plus 24 the square. So we can say that 24, 70 and 74 are the Pythagorean triplets. Why they are Pythagorean triplets? As the squares of the largest number is equal to the sum of the squares of the other two numbers. So this statement, write it at the end of the sum compulsorily. Let us see the fifth one, children. What the fifth one says, the same manner we have to solve it. Given to us 10, 24, 27. First of all, write it in the descending order and find the squares. 27 the square, 24 the square, and 10 the square. 27 the square is 729, 24 the square is 576, and 10 the square is 100. So let us add the squares of the smaller numbers. We will get it as 6, 76, and if you see, these two are not equal to each other, therefore 27 the square is not equal to the sum of the squares of the smaller numbers. Hence the three numbers given are not Pythagorean triplets, as the square of the largest number is not equal to the sum of the squares of the other two numbers. And what the sixth question says, in the same manner, 11, 60 and 61, write it in the descending order. Find the squares, and what is given as 61 the square, we get 3721, 3600, and 11 the square is 121. Let us add, and what do we get? See, 1, 2, 7 and 3, so both are equal to each other, hence they are the Pythagorean triplets. So you have to write it, simply don't leave the answer over there, are Pythagorean triplets, and why they are Pythagorean triplets? As the square of the largest number is equal to the sum of the squares of the other two numbers.